Hello, everybody. Please just tell me if you can hear me. Hello.
Yes, can hear you
Yes.
loud and clear.
Hi, everyone. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay, hi, everyone. I know that there's still a few people joining, so let's just give them around about 5 more minutes into our call. Meanwhile, what you can do, you can jot your name and surname down and just greet in the chat so we can see who's joined us today in our webinar. So we can say hi, hi. While we at it, also, we're just gonna ask you to do a little bit of something for us, so we can keep track as to who is in our session. Hi, Melanie. I think am I saying your name right? Melanie. Glad that you were able to join us this morning. While we're still waiting for other people to join. Hey, yes. Can hear a few people joining. Onesimo, hi, Onesimo. Asipomandla. Oh, Asipamandla. Oh, okay. Hi, Asipamandla. Sorry for that. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, guys. Hello. We wait. Hi, Abongile. Nice to meet you. If I can just ask one of our teams members to please help monitor YouTube, that would be awesome. While we're still waiting for other people to join. Hi, Tokozane. How are you? I hope everyone is doing great this morning. And while we wait for our speakers to join as well. I'm gonna just run through a few things while people are joining throughout the whole session. I know that you can't unmute, but I'll give you a chance to unmute later on to our session so that we don't disrupt the speaker when they're doing their presentation. So you don't have privileges to mute, but what you can do, you can abuse the comment section. I have a team that will be monitoring all the comment sections. So if there's a question that you want to ask, if there's something that you want to clarify, you can use the comment section and we will be there to answer it anytime that we can. Cool. So even when the speaker is having their session, if you have any question that pops, please just jot it into the comment section. And then, yeah, we'll answer your questions. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. So what I've asked is just jot your name and surname down in the comment section so we can see who has joined us this morning while we wait for more people to join us. Yes, so yes, I mean, hi, Mufukelifu. Nice to Siwe. Eli, nice to meet you guys. Nompumelelo Nkosi, hello. Great that you joined us this morning. So just 1 more minute while we wait for other people to join us. Let's see who's joined us this morning. I hope everyone is excited to learn about artificial intelligence. Hi, Metumelo. Hi, Tandeka. Tuto, hello. Miss Siam Tembu, hi. As I was just saying that throughout the whole session, you do not have privileges to unmute. That is because we would just like the speaker to end the session without being interrupted. But towards the end of our session, we will give you back your privileges to unmute, and then you can ask your questions. But don't feel free to use the chat to jot any questions that you may have throughout the whole session. We will be there to help you. Okay. Okay. We are about to begin. Cool. I think we can begin. So, hi everybody. My name is Gugu Mukwena. I am an IBM administrator at Breathing Code, and welcome to another session. Today we'll be doing artificial intelligence. So, unlocking the future fundamentals of AI, right? I think we've heard a lot about AI lately. You know, it's such a buzzing word. So people would then ask, "What is this AI? Like, how do you even get in? Like, where do I even start?" And I think this is the right platform. I think this is the start for you if you're in this session. So essentially, this whole session is just to give you a brief overview of what is AI, what you can find in the AI space. What exactly do we do when we say we in the AI space? And if you want to clarify things for you, this is the space for you. Do not um, walk away without having that good understanding, right? Because we have an expert for you who will be speaking on it today, and you have the platform to interact with that expert and ask um, what is there for us to
Google, I think you're breaking up a bit. Um,
do?
so,
Why is it important?
okay.
Can you
I just
guys
think,
still hear me?
can you hear me
Did
now?
you lose me?
Yes.
Yes.
Gugu can't hear you much, so I think Zubair's gonna take over intro.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
A little bit the
Okay.
same.
No, Zubair, please continue. I think I'm having.
Okay. So I think we can actually start with our webinar. So thank you everybody for joining. Today we actually have a guest speaker speaking for us today, and we are excited to have him join us. Before we get into the whole webinar and getting into AI, there's just a small thing that I want to ask you guys to do for us. So in the chat should be a link. Nicola, if you can add that in for me. This will take you to IBM Skills Build, where you can just mark this webinar as complete, where we can basically track you and we'll give you more information once the webinar is complete. This is also where you'll be able to find a recording. So if there is anything you missed out on or you maybe joined late, you can find out about it in the recording. So this will be on IBM Skills Build. I'll also be doing a walkthrough with you to show you where you can find this on IBM Skills Build, and then also where you can do other things as well. So to get started, I just want to introduce you to our speaker today. So we are joined by Leon Vester. He is a software technical sales leader at IBM. Leon, are you there?
Good morning, Zubair. I'm here.
Okay. Okay. I think it will be better if your biography comes from your side, so you can give us a more detailed explanation on what you do and what you'll be speaking to us about today.
Sure. Thanks, Zubair. Thanks for the opportunity to be engaging with your audience. Yeah, my name is Leon Vester. I'm the software technical sales leader at IBM. And essentially, I look after a team of pre-sales engineers who work with our customers to understand the problems that our customers are trying to fix in their world and help them find the right IBM solution that will add value and improve the business objectives that the customer is trying to resolve. So we typically have in my team strong technical skills. We build solutions, we give customers advice. And part of my role is working with young talent like yourselves, growing them into a senior role, senior capabilities, helping them understand the technology that our customers want to use, the business problems, and how it all fits together. In solution architecture, we typically look at the dimensions of a system as being, people, process, and technology. So there's a triangle relationship. So those people that are part of that system relationship will include the end users who are using the system, but also the people like you who are building those solutions up front. Whenever you bring new technologies into an organization or into an industry, there is direct impact on the business systems, and there are people that operate those systems that now need to be reskilled. I think where we are now in our evolution in the IT industry with AI becoming more prevalent and dominant is, what do customers, how do we approach AI? What do we do with it? How is it going to add value to us? Otherwise, what's the use of looking at AI? And I think from an IBM perspective, we've been working with AI for quite a while. We obviously have to, I think a key difference between IBM and many other companies is that IBM typically works in a business-to-business relationship. So you wouldn't necessarily find an IBM product on the shelf when you walk into your local tech store, to go buy the latest gadget or device. But we typically power large banks and industries with our technologies. 90% of every credit card transaction goes through an IBM system. So that is how deeply entrenched we are in IT, and why we believe we've got opportunities to help grow skills. I think from an IBM perspective, we've actually committed to upskilling 30 million people by 2030. I think there's a question.
Is that we can't actually hear you properly, Leon. I'm so sorry, my Wi-Fi is back. We can't, the sound is not audible.
I'm not great. Let me try and change my microphone.
I think that's better.
Is that better?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Apologies. Thanks for pointing that out. Thanks. So just quickly on the slide up that you've got it up on your screen now, you can see where IBM's history of 113 years has evolved. We as IBM have gone through 5 major changes in the last 60 years, from being a hardware company that focuses on mainframes and PCs to then becoming a services company and a software company. And where we are now, as of 2019, we have become a hybrid cloud, AI, and quantum company. So those are the focus technologies that we're looking at. And the reason we're looking at those technologies is because we believe that is the future. I think for many of you who have finished school recently or varsity, you probably would have been told that the job you're going to do one day does not exist yet. Who's heard that statement, right? In the last 3 to 4 years, that has been the message that has been coming out, that the job you're going to do one day does not exist. As I'm speaking to you now, the job I've done in the past did not exist when I was at varsity either. So yeah, thanks, Melanie. Many of us, right? So I think what you should be looking at, and why I'm grateful to be talking with you right now, is I started my IT career in 1992 was my first year at varsity, and back then all you could do to get into the IT industry was study programming. So I did not like programming, but I had to go and study it. And I think what it has helped me is to get a basic understanding of how applications should be working, how you deal with the computer, how you talk to a computer, and more importantly, how you instruct a computer to be able to execute the functions that you want it to do. In the same way with AI now, we're finding that many organizations are looking at AI and putting it on top of the existing processes and asking themselves, how do we make our organization work better by infusing AI into what we currently do? And where we've got into now is I think if we look at the entrepreneur mode, the disruptive organizations out there that are starting up, that are competing with some of our major organizations, they are starting to think from the perspective of what if AI did the job? So just think about that quickly. How do I go and add AI to an existing process to make it better versus what if AI did the job? So the thinking automatically changes to, I need less resources, I need system automation, I need capabilities. And so there is a lot of creativity and opportunity for you right now to learn about AI, because here's the reality. Where we are with AI now is, I think, especially since the launch of ChatGPT, a lot of people suddenly realize that AI is on our doorstep. It's in our houses, but it's actually been there already. Think about your playlists that are being created for you on your favorite streaming app, whether it's movies or music. There's AI in the background looking at your history, looking at your data. Targeted adverting on some of the other social media platforms is using AI. And really, it is more on the consumer side. You know, when you start facing actual AI, think about your Siri and Google. When you speak to your devices, you are interacting with AI. So from a business perspective, it's really more on the consumer side, the commercial side, where you start seeing AI. Products like Microsoft Office have got AI infused in it. You may have used other programs called Copilot and Pod, and to generate images. I think those are the new flavors of AI, right? So traditional AI was pure data scientists writing code, using data, having math degrees. They do string theory and all those other nice scientific degrees. And that's kind of where AI has been for the large part of our history. Where we are now is we are making AI available through IBM Skills Build, through our IBM tech zones, and phones spying on us. Is that part of AI? I think that's more the bad behavior by the owners of AI, right? AI does not have the capability yet to do its free thinking. So yes, look more at the organizations that have implemented AI. It's actually a good question there, because from an IBM perspective, we really promote trusted AI, which is not as you pointed out, the companies spying on you through the phones, but responsible AI is all about being able to explain how your AI got to the answers, explain the data that was used in it, and being able to show that. Sorry, slightly on the topic there, right? Early AI models were trained on certain data, right? So facial recognition is one of the earliest cases of AI hallucinations and misrepresentation that came out, because early facial recognition software was based on European males and females, in other words, white people. Right? So as soon as somebody like me of color or came along, it would not be able to pick up, and that was part of the discrimination and the bias within those models. These days, with trusted AI, we try and remove those barriers in making AI accessible to not just previously advantaged demographics, but we believe everybody should be able to use AI. So definitely an interesting scenario. Is AI spying on us? I think no, AI is not spying on us. It's those companies that are spying on us to build their databases. So I want to just close out this picture that I've got on here. When you think of AI, right? So if you look at Deep Blue, in 1997, IBM built a supercomputer that was in a big room, ran AI models on that, and was able to beat the reigning chess champion, right, in chess in a live competition. That was in 1997. That was the capabilities that AI had. Fast forward to where we are now, you've got that same capabilities on your smartphone, on your mobile device. You can access those services that AI has and use those in applications. And I think that's where the Skills Build program is really going to be helpful for you to understand and actually get your hands on AI. A lot of our platforms now are designed for the citizen data scientist, right? Somebody that's not skilled necessarily in software development. somebody that's happy to look at data and formulate an hypothesis about what that data tells them and then testing it. So when we look at AI, right, we've spoken about machine learning, but AI has progressed forward from there in that we've got artificial intelligence, which we can loosely define as the machine telling us what to do, right, or making a recommendation based on the data that AI has analyzed, right? So if, again, what you train your AI models on or what data you give it will influence the outcomes. I think in the scenario that I presented earlier about facial recognition, because the data being used to train the model was European males and females, it battled to do facial recognition for non-European males and females. So similarly, when you train your models, if you use free data that's available on the internet, yes, you could be sued by people, which did happen with ChatGPT. People were starting to use ChatGPT that was trained on public data on the internet, and authors like J.K. Rowling from the Harry Potter series was suing people. Right? That is the challenge, and why IBM's version of AI is trusted AI. So we use our data only. We use data that is specific to the domain for the trained task, and we share that data to anybody that wants to see it. So from an IBM perspective, we believe in trusted AI and not just general purpose for free internet tools. So, after artificial intelligence, where the machine tells you, we have augmented artificial intelligence. With augmented artificial intelligence, you now have the ability to, as the owner and operator of that intelligence, you can approve and decline. So remember, AI is not going to automatically do that spying, or AI is not going to automatically, book your reservation. There's an integration capability that needs to happen. So the automation, AI helps you then to automate those activities. So with augmented AI, you now get AI telling you this is the recommendation. You then, as the owner and operator of the system, would click the yes, approve. I approve this action. So AI, again, is still being controlled. The modern AI, where ChatGPT comes in, and you'll find this is a specific term called generative AI. AI, that artificial intelligence that has the ability to create new content. So with generative AI, you can tell the artificial intelligence, create an image for me with a sunset or a background of a tree, right? Being able to, firstly, what the AI needs to do is understand your language. So we would be typing in that instruction into code. So that's natural language processing that gets used. That is a form of AI being used already before you even generate any new content. So I think, when we talk about AI, people often go, it's strange, it's foreign, I don't know it. The Skills Build program that you're going to learn about does actually have curated learning that'll take you step by step through an understanding of what AI is and how to implement it. It is very focused for the audience type. So whether you are a 13-year-old wanting to learn about AI or a 65-year-old who wants to just play with tools, there are opportunities and learning materials available. And what I really personally like about Skills Build is, in my career, I've often been asked by school leavers and young professionals, or at least by their parents, my kid is interested in computers. What should they do? How do they go about it? Skills Build is one of those platforms that is available, that does allow you to get your hands dirty. And maybe programming is not actually for you. That just, let's pause there, because programming wasn't for me. I studied programming. I haven't really worked as a programmer, but it has been a good base for me in terms of understanding for all the other dimensions of IT, whether you're going to end up in a support function or a creative element, because that's the other aspect, right? AI is not only for the rocket scientists and the nerds, right? We need creative people. We need people who can think outside of the box. What is the problem that you're trying to fix? And what I would really encourage any of you is, don't just think of how AI is going to help you now, but how is AI going to allow you to grow your career? How is AI going to infuse your world? If you think 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or 20 years from now, it's going to be a very different world. You'd be telling your kids one day about the early days of AI when you were creating models, and 10 years, 20 years from now, they'll be showing the AI a picture, and AI will understand what they want to do and then write the code. A lot of changes are happening. So I think if you are looking to build a career, if you are looking to get skilled up, AI is fairly new. So even somebody like me that's got 3 years experience, if I had to be starting with AI now, I'd be starting on the same spot as you. Yes, I might have a better foundation and background because I've studied programming before. And that's really the nice thing, right? Once you've studied programming, it's very easy to move into a different language and pick up a different language. Because essentially it is like languages, you got to learn a skill, you got to learn a syntax. And Comp Science 101 for me was very daunting because I'd never worked on a computer before going to varsity. Some of you may have a challenge like that as well, but what you really do need is the ability to be able to think logically. So a simple example, right? I'm assuming within the last 2 weeks, last month, we've all washed our hair, right? And if you look at the instructions on your shampoo bottle, for example, if that was given to a computer, it would not know what to do. Right? So the typical instructions would be wet hair, lather, rinse, repeat. Right? That's the general instructions for washing hair. If you look at the bottle, the first thing you need to tell the computer is to start, and the last thing you have to tell the computer is where to end. So those instructions just from the bottle make sense to us because we can apply logic and figure that out. But if we had to tell a computer how to wash hair, it would not know how to do that. So basic logic of start a program, follow the instructions. So if you go to the washing your hair example, right? Once you get to the instructions that says lather, rinse, repeat, when does the computer start? How many times does it need to repeat that process? For us, we know, hey, repeat means do it once and then do it twice. But the computer will do that until it will loop continuously until it either breaks or it will run out of shampoo and then just do nothing because there's no shampoo. So that's the kind of basic logic that you need to be able to understand how to write software for a computer, because you are guiding the AI. So if you do think that AI is being bad, it was maybe bad code or bad instructions that was given to it. I'm going to pause there quickly. I see there were some comments and questions that have come up. But really, I think where you are right now in your career, you and I were on the same path. We're on the same trajectory. Anybody starting AI would be where you are, so don't feel like you have missed out on anything. And most importantly, it's not where you start, it's your attitude, right? Little unknown secret to many people is I actually failed my tertiary qualifications twice. Today, I've got a BCom honors degree and a postgraduate diploma in future studies, and I work for IBM as a senior executive. It's not about where you start. Do be eager, have willingness to learn, have the aptitude and attitude, more importantly, to want to learn, because the opportunities that you have got in front of you right now are opportunities that many others don't. At the end of the day, we are all going to be competing for the same jobs. So however best you can equip yourself with the right tools and ask questions, please. There are no dumb questions. I think be curious, be creative, and want to learn and grow. Thank you for your time. I'm going to just pause and ask if there's any questions.
Thank you so much, Leon. Thank you for your wonderful talk. I think I'm just one of those people as well. I do have a technical background, but whenever AI and all of these buzzwords come about, I get so overwhelmed because starting can be very, very, very difficult, right? Which then leads to my question is, what are some of the career paths in AI, and what advice would you give a student aiming to specialize in this field?
Thank you. So I think I'll talk a little bit slower. Sorry, Kumo. I get excited sometimes. So I think firstly, career paths in AI. There's a couple of aspects that to consider, right? So AI is built on data, right? It's the data that you give to your AI model that will make it be useful to you. So one aspect of working with AI is data quality, data management, right? There's the other aspects of AI. In traditional AI, we built specific models that would do one function only. that would require your data scientist level understanding of what the model is. You would train the model. You'd need GPUs, graphical processing units, right? So NVIDIA is the name that you might hear, right? They provide the hardware that is needed to process all the large amounts of data that's needed for AI. And I think also, so that is sort of the traditional AI spaces, data scientist type activities. But as a citizen data scientist, being able to use things like large language models. Now, the difference between AI, traditional AI, where we built one model that would do a specific task, and large language models, which are now open source and freely available for you to consume. So think of that for those who do have some programming understanding. Think of that as a library that you can include in your code to make more functionality available. With large language models, you now have pre-trained models that can do multiple functions. So the typical capabilities in large language models are for classification, extraction, summarization, right? Those are the kind of capabilities that are already in those large language models. So you don't need to create a model that will do the function for you. It's how do you exploit that model in a business or user-friendly environment to create value for the organization or customer. So I think, yeah, don't limit yourself to AI engineer only. There's designers, there's creatives, working with virtual assistants. You could be doing application support or development as well. So I think that's a very good question. It's not just AI data scientist type roles that are available. Yeah.
Then Mufokeng Lifu is asking, is there any chance of having general AI since currently we are in generative AI?
Sorry, could you repeat that question? I think you broke up.
He's asking, is there any chance of having general AI since currently we are in generative AI?
General AI, is that the question? Would we have general AI? I think it's, the first question I've got to ask is, how do we define general AI, right? Generative AI has been the missing link in terms of, greater AI adoption. I think AI as we know it now, right? So think about what is part of the purpose of AI, to be able to add value to your life. How is it going to do that? By taking away repetitive tasks, right? So I think general AI is probably already defined by machine learning. It's a general approach to training AI models. But where we are now with generative AI is one of the exploitive creative purposes for AI's existence. Being able to actually use artificial intelligence to create new knowledge and new artifacts. So I think, yeah, general AI would be the way we've done it before, where you train a specific model. I think there's a term called the democratization of AI that's being used quite often, making AI, and part of democratization of AI is making AI more accessible to different people. If you think about dealing with challenges for an elderly person, for example, they've got a different requirement for how AI can make their world easier. Somebody with a learning disability or sign language, for example. So that's one of the things we've gotten right recently with AI in IBM, that you can use sign language to speak through the screen. So like we talking on a WebEx a Zoom session, you can show the virtual assistant the hand signs, and it will be able to translate that. So think about that application for a family who's now got somebody who uses sign language, and the family doesn't necessarily need to learn sign language to start engaging with them. Think about the possible application in a hospital, for example, a person who can't speak for themselves and now needs to use sign language, and me on the other side that needs to service this person from a customer service perspective. I don't understand sign language, but there's AI that can translate that into English for me and tell me what the person's trying to say, and vice versa. If I then speak to the AI, it can then translate through sign language to the person on the other side. So I think the limit of AI is more based on your imagination and the laws of physics more than anything else. Yeah. AI has got a good future, but it needs people like you to come up with creative ideas.
And then on YouTube, Mr. Smith asked, is the idea AI will take most job an exaggeration? And is it more accurate to say AI will replace jobs only for those who do not adapt, making understanding AI essential rather than optional?
That's a very big question there, right? So will AI replace jobs? Yes and no. Right? So the current focus on AI is how can we take repetitive tasks and make your work easier? With every major change, I think we've seen this in previous industrial revolutions, right? We're in the fourth one. But one of the challenges that we had with the steam train, steam engines, people were afraid it would take their jobs. And yes, the factory production line meant that less people were working in there. Robotics came into vehicle manufacturing, so less people are employed in those kind of jobs. The purpose of AI is to help people do more high-value work. So I do think anybody that's looking at AI, firstly from the perspective of let's add AI to an existing process, is looking at optimizing a process. But if you start looking at what if AI did the job, you wouldn't be losing a job necessarily because that job never existed in that role. So I think the challenge is for large existing organizations, there is a reality that jobs would be lost because AI is more efficient, it's cheaper. I don't think it's really that AI is doing it, but that the business levers, costs, spend, resources, etc., are the drivers that makes companies go that way and does result in job losses. And hence why it is important to understand what AI is, because I think there's a lot of fear. I have an example of my mother was a factory worker, right? And when industrialization came to factories, she was making clothing, right? So she was a seamstress, a supervisor at the end of the day. She didn't pass Standard 6. My dad, on the other hand, was a teacher, right? He finished his teaching diploma and he retired as a deputy principal. But we've got a little family joke in our family, right? Because even though my mother was working in a factory and didn't have Standard 6, she eventually ended up being a part-time lecturer at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology in the fashion and design industry. So we laugh, my dad was a qualified teacher. He became a vice principal and retired. My mom was a lecturer and she only had Standard 6. And the reason I think that's a nice story to tell you is because her industry, factory workers being production line was something that they said wouldn't last, wouldn't work. But her attitude, she ended up running her own business as a cut, make, and trim operator, employing 10 people, 12 people, and then sold that as a going concern. So for me, that was like one of the moments that I realized it wasn't where you started. My dad had a tertiary qualification, became a vice principal. My mom had Standard 6, worked in a factory, and ended up being a small business owner and a part-time lecturer at university. So really, again, reminder to me, it's not where you start, it's your attitude and your will.
Thank you so much. And I think I'll just take one last question. I saw that Melanie had a question. It says, will AI be able to become conscious? Right? I hope I'm paraphrasing the question correctly. Will it have its own brain at some point?
Look, there's a lot of talk around that, right? So you may have come across the term singularity, right? When AI, and that's the point where we believe AI will have the level of intelligence to do free thinking. To singularity where AI and people start, becoming intermingling in its approach. I think the reality on that part is, again, is what are we going to allow AI to achieve and do? And so I think there's actually a article about Google having switched off their AI because they had created two AI models that were talking to each other, And according to the story, if I remember, the models, the two AI started speaking in a language that they'd created that nobody even understood. So I think, yes, definitely AI could get to that point. Do we allow it? Part of the guardrails we need to put in place and part of trusted AI. Again, the limits are currently the laws of physics and your imagination, right? If you want to build it, yeah, go for it. But I don't think there's a defined timeline to say that this is definitely going to happen. I think the singularity is a bit of a science fiction fantasy world that is possible. But is that your preferred future or your desired future or your probable future? I think those are three dimensions you need to understand. You know, your probable future is if everything remains the same, we can realistically predict where we will end up. Your possible future, like I said, are the laws of physics and your imagination. But what's your desired future or your preferred future? Right? That's the one you need to plot out and plan with and grow towards. So I really encourage you to think not just of what do you want to do now. Think of it like a futurist, right? 20 years from now, even 5 years from now. I think 20 years is too long, right? We've seen the drastic changes in our world post-COVID, or even during COVID, right? It's changed significantly the way we did things, you know, the adoption of technologies. I think through COVID, one of the things that maybe did help us a lot was our reliance on technology. You know, the internet was supposed to be a fad, according to some people. It would, you know, exist on a stiffy disk, right? There's the whole internet. But just think of how the internet has changed learning outcomes. In 2011, when I did my BCom honors, it was classroom only. Right? I had to go to the varsity once a week to get my classroom sessions. When I did my postgraduate diploma in future studies in 2017, it was a blended course, so I could sit at home and watch or go into the classroom. I think even nowadays at school, kids are required to have a tablet or do some schoolwork. Part of their curriculum is technology based, and really, it's. I think we, you know, as I mentioned, being creative, we need the creatives. So it's not just science, technology, engineering, and math, right? It's not STEM anymore. It's STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, right? So the arts are those creative people that are going to find those innovative solutions. Think of being an entrepreneur. What does it mean to be an entrepreneur, for example? Recently on a leadership program, I learned that an entrepreneur is actually a creative problem solver. And I went, oh, wow, never thought of him like that, right? But a creative problem solver is looking at things that we encounter every day and saying, is there a better way of doing it? Can I find a way that adds more value? So when you look at adding value, it's like, does it make my task easier? Does it take away heavy lifting? You know, think about reading a contract. If AI can summarize and tell you what's in the contract, you don't have to read 60, 70 pages. So all the lawyers out there are liking that capability, right? So once you find an opportunity, you know, Uber apps and those things that do travel and directions on the fly, you know, Waze and those kind of apps, they're using AI to find a better route for you. So again, the applications of AI is endless. It's up to your creativity to find a possible solution. So don't stop learning and don't stop experimenting.
Thank you so much, Mr. Festa. I think we'll be done now so that we can continue with what is on the agenda. Thank you so much for encouraging words. Before we continue, I just wanted to highlight that there are links in the chat for the survey for this webinar. So feel free to please rate us and give us the feedback so that we can also improve and to also just structure content around something that you might like to hear as well. I will be more than welcome to hear your feedback. And then also just remember for those who joined late, we do have a link for you to mark as complete so we can have a slight understanding of who joined us in this webinar so that we can also just share additional content even after the session. So you can find those all in the chat. So now that we've heard about the overview of AI and what it's all about, where do we go from here, right? So we have something called IBM Skills Board, where Nicola will just give us more understanding as what is IBM Skills Board, why is it important, and how can it help me get started in terms of getting myself in the AI industry. Nicola, are you
Hi
there?
there. Can everyone hear me?
We can hear
So
you.
IBM Skills World has free courses, and why we're here is this week I did do the AI course, and that comes with the AI ethics and everything of what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Um, with this course and this multiple, there's cybersecurity, cloud, and web development. And especially in the AI course, the first two parts of it, you guys will get so easy. It's like basic knowledge, and it's quite surprising of how like we pick up knowledge throughout the day. The rest of it, like deep learning and machine learning, etc. It was deep thinking. Sorry, it was quite a really interesting delving into that. So please go check that out. It is a lot of fun once you actually know what everything's going on about, because you learn about narrow AI, general AI, and broad AI. I didn't know there were so many. And with self-driving cars and everything going around, it's quite interesting to see how world is changing. And with IBM, we do free courses. As I said, you do not need to put any banking details in that. Zubair, Gugu, and I are always here for a chat if you want something, learning path to take you on a different route in your career. But there are learning paths already on IBM Skills Build. All you have to do is search for them. With IBM Skills Build, it is flexible and personalized, but we also want to develop those soft skills. So coding is one thing, but with soft skills, you'll learn how to work in a team, problem solving, if anything comes up in the workplace. So also check that out, especially now that it's interview season. And from yesterday, I got my AI digital credential, which Zubair will take you through how to get that. With digital credentials, you can show them on your resume and LinkedIn, and that just shows your ambition to work in. As Leon says, you want to go out there, you want to show that you know what you're doing, you're going to explore. You don't have to always like be in one little corner. He didn't like programming. There's always like project management. So you can also check that out on Skills Build. So with that, I'm going to pass it on. Oh, fun facts about IBM is that IBM Watson actually played a game of Jeopardy and won it. So you get to also learn about Watson a lot on IBM, and you also get the IDE, so you can make your own little AI program. So yeah, check that out, guys. Zubair, on to you.
Thank you, Nicola. Okay. So, just to give you a visual of what Nicola was speaking about, I'll show you the IBM Skills Build website, and where you can also find most of the learning plans. So, for those of you that are not yet on IBM Skills Build, you can just go to the sign up button over here, and then you can either sign up with Google or your email. The easiest way to do it, if you are logged into your Google account on your device, is to just sign up with Google. Once you do that, it will get all the accounts that is available to you. You'll just choose on whichever account you want. If you are a Within Code student and you have a Within Code email address, please use that, because you will have extra courses available to you. So once you choose which account you want to log in with, it will bring you to the IBM Skills Build homepage. So in the chat, there is a link to a AI course that you can do. And this is actually the course that is in the chat. So once you click on the link and you sign in and do all of those things, the first thing that will pop up is it will ask you to enroll or skip. So just click on enroll. Oh, what is this? Just refresh that. Okay. So it will show you that success, you have enrolled in the plan, and it will show you right on top the progress that you are busy with. So you don't need to do the entire learning plan in one go. You can do it in sections, so you can do it on your own time. Whenever you have free time, you'll be able to go into it and continue wherever you left off. So with this course, there is required things and there's also optional things. So if you look at the top of each section, it will tell you how many things are required. And once you complete all of these things, if you go into actions over here somewhere, there will be a button that you can click on to get your certificate. So just to show you what that will look like, you can go to your completed learning to see actually everything that you've done previously on IBM. You can go to your completed learning and it will all show up over here on this page. Internet just seems to be a bit slow today. Okay. So there's a whole lot of different things that you can do on IBM, right? Not just AI. So if you're looking for anything specific, you'll be able to find it over here. So if I can just show you one of the things where you can maybe go and look at your certificate. So this is something I've completed before. So if you go into actions, view completion certificate, and this is what your certificate will look like. So just to mention, the first certificate that you'll be getting, it won't have your name on top. It will say learner. So the one that has your name and all of your details on there should show up about 2 or 3 days later. So if you are interested in putting these things on your LinkedIn or any social media to just show what you've all completed, you can just click on share, and then you can actually copy this link and you can add it into your LinkedIn page. And then another thing also, we do also have a PBL. So this is something that has been available for a couple of weeks already. And if you did not register for this, right, you can still enroll in it. Let me just refresh that one as well. So you can still enroll in it and you'll be able to do everything. The only thing is with the PBL, right? So this is project-based learning. So there are courses that happen virtually that have recordings and all of those things already. So if you are a person that learns visually, this is much more better for you. So if you go all the way to the bottom of this plan, there will be online live session presentations. So all of these are around about an hour and a half to 2 hours long. Some of them are an hour. You can go through these and you can actually watch this as well on your own time. And if you do want to get a certificate for this, you will have to actually go through all of the activities on this learning plan to get the certificate. Also, we do have some extra things that you can find. So if you go to the search bar at the top and you just search WTC, you will be able to find our channel that we've created on IBM Skills Build. And this is where most of the things that we find interesting for you to help you with the basics on coding, you'll be able to find over here. So, Nicola, I'm not sure if the survey is on here.
It is there. Oh,
Is
it
this-
isn't yet. It isn't yet.
Okay, so it should still be coming up, but the link is also in the chat, I'm assuming. Is it there?
Yes, it's in the chat.
Thank you. Okay, so I think by tomorrow or the day after, it should show up over here, the survey. So this is where you can tell us maybe more about what you've learned and what you're looking for in the future in some of our webinars. And then also, if I can just go back to the other slide. So if you look on the slide over here, you will see we have our email address that you can email us at. So if there's anything specific you're looking for on IBM Skills Build and you maybe can't find it yourself, you can always email us and we'll be able to find a free version for you and help you out with any issues that you have. So please, if you do have anything that you're interested in learning, so if you've completed all the AI courses and you're looking for something more in depth, but you maybe don't want to pay for it or you find something that requires a payment, please get a hold of us so that we can find a course for you that is much better suited for you. I think that is it from my side. Gugu, is there anything that I'm missing?
Thank you so much, Zube. There's just one question. How can they get these? Will these links be emailed to them? How can they get them?
Okay, so I will be sending you guys the recording after this as well. So in the email, it will have the recording link as well as the survey. So if you guys don't see it in the chat, I'll also be adding it into an email that I'll be sending to all of you later on. I think about 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon, that email should be sent out to you guys. So don't stress if you guys do have any questions. Like I said, the email that I'll be sending all of this communication out on, you can just reply to that email as well.
Thank you so much, Zubair, and the IBM Skills Build team. Thank you for everyone who had joined. I'm just going to highlight a few more other things. Oh, we have one more other question. Do we pay for these courses?
No. So everything that is on IBM Skills Build is free. If for some reason you are maybe looking through IBM Skills Build, you're trying to maybe find some other courses that you are interested in, and you do come upon a learning plan or an activity where it takes you to another website, right? So there's a lot of websites that are connected to IBM Skills Build, such as Coursera or Udemy. So those sites require you to have a payment there so that you can actually access the courses, right? If you do find yourself landing on one of those pages, email us and just tell us exactly what you are looking for. That we will be able to find it for you and give you a version where you don't actually have to pay.
Thank you so much, Zubair. Just to highlight a few more things, we do these webinars almost every week, right? Where we tackle different topics. I think we're jumping into November now, where we're going to be discussing more on web development, cybersecurity, more on AI as well, and have more experts come and speak. So be on the lookout for those on our social media platforms. On any We Think Code social media platform, you can get more information there. Feel free to email us as well. Feel free to review us and do type there what you'd like us to help you with in terms of do you want us to do explain IT careers? Do you just want to focus on soft skills? Is it work readiness that you want us to help you with? And we can just design a whole webinar suited just for your needs, because we're just here to help you get to where you want to be, right? Thank you so much for joining us. Please do review us. As I said, please go through this learning path. We are waiting for your feedback. Yes, today.
Now, with the other webinars that are happening, the next AI webinar will be happening in about 2 or 3 weeks, right? So if you guys do go on to IBM Skills Build and you're going through the learning plans and you're finding yourself questioning a lot of things that is happening, you can always join us for our next webinar as well, and just keep those questions ready, because we will have an expert that actually does AI for a living, right? So we'll have a speaker on that webinar as well, where he can actually answer most of the questions that you have.
And to Mr. Faisal, thank you so much for your presence. Thank you so much for your insights. I think I really enjoyed it. At least I'm not overwhelmed about jumping into AI anymore. So thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. I hope we can collaborate again in the future. And if there's any other questions that might pop through into our emails, we will send them through to you so you can help us with that. But for your time, sir, thank you so much. And to everyone else, thank you so much. I think this will conclude our webinar for today. I'll see you guys next week, Thursday. Hopefully, when we do have another dive in, just check out the social media platforms. Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
guys.
Bye.
Everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.